Hi, and welcome to episode 53 of Tales of Yarnia. My name is Hannah, and I'm coming to you from Cheltenham in the UK, which is where I live with my other half, Jimmy, and I can now say husband. With my husband, Jimmy, and our yellow Labrador, Jonah, who was just had his head on my lap and has now wandered off to look at himself in the mirror. So, social media wise, you can find me as Yarnia Designs on Instagram and Ravelry. And you can also find my knitting patterns available on Ravelry under Yarnia Designs too. And I'll include links to all of that and everything that I talk about today just down in the show notes, which is in the description box. Okay, so Jonah has decided to chew on his bone. Jonah! Shush. Good boy. So, he's trying to do it quietly now and he can't. Sorry about that. So, where was I? I'd literally only just done the introduction. So, I'm filming. It's really early in the morning. It's now just before 8 o'clock on my day off. I've been up since just before 7, just because I need to make sure that I can get a podcast in today. And I know there's going to be a lot of noise later because we're having a bathroom put in downstairs. So I needed to try and film before they turn up to do that. So otherwise I'm not going to get a chance at all this week to put a podcast together. So I really wanted to just get up early, crack on, and get chatting to you all. So I have got some coffee here, but it's too hot to drink at the moment, I think. It's just about okay now. Okay, so got quite a few things to show you and talk about. There's quite a big bit of news since I last spoke to you. We are now in another lockdown in the UK, but just like 3 days before the lockdown, we got married. So we managed it. It was just the week leading up to the wedding was the most stressful week of our lives, I think. And the Saturday, we were due to get married on the Monday before lockdown started, which was 3 days before. And on the Saturday, the news broke that there was going to be a big announcement from the Prime Minister. And I lived the few hours waiting to find out what the news was. And we knew there was going to be some sort of lockdown, but we didn't know when it was going to start. And that was just so stressful. I'd literally just picked up my dress from the bridal shop and taken it to the venue, hung it up in the bridal suite, ready for getting ready on the morning of the wedding. And then we heard about the news, and I was like, are you serious right now? So, but we managed it. It was an amazing day. We had the lovely John from Mr. B's Yarn as our photographer, and he did such an amazing job. So definitely go and check out his photography account on Instagram, which I think is John_bird_photography. I'll link him in the description box because he shared a lot more photos of our wedding if you want to see them. And yeah, because I didn't want to overload my account. But if you do want to see more wedding stuff, then I'll include it. I might include a little montage or something, photo thing, somehow here in the podcast, just with a few of my favourite photos. So yeah, we're really happy. We're just so relieved we managed to have the wedding. We've had no honeymoon, obviously, so but I literally don't even care. I just wanted to get married. So yes, we managed it. So on to the knitting. Have another sip of coffee because my eyes are not properly awake. Okay. So the main thing at the beginning of the podcast, which I need to show you, is a new design which I've been working on and is now released. And it's an Advent design. So it's designed to be used with yarn Advent calendars or even the 12 Days of Christmas boxes that I know some yarn dyers do. So it uses either 12 or 24 mini skeins, depending on which size you want to do, and whether you want to use each colour once or twice in the cowl. So it is a cowl. I will just show you. It's so I have knit the largest size. So this one wraps around twice. Let's try and show you without it blowing out. So I used 12 mini skeins for this, but I used each colour twice. So the way it works is basically each colour section uses about 10 grams of yarn. So you can, if you've got 10 gram mini skeins, you would need 24 to do the large size or 12 to do the smaller size. The smaller size is worked up exactly the same, it's just half the size, so it just wraps around once. So I'll just show you how that looks. So the large one is obviously quite long. It's knit around in the round. So this is actually a tube. This here is a tube. So you knit around just on this small circumference and gradually work up around the cowl, and then you join them at the end. And it's got this, you do need one contrast colour. So I went for a really dark grey, and you use that to do a little bit of mosaic knitting in between each colour section, which is pretty much just slip stitches. It's not the same as standard colour work. You're only ever using one colour on a row at a time. You don't have to fiddle around with two different yarns. So you don't have to fiddle around with two different yarns. It's just you work with one yarn at once, but it just has the illusion of colour work. So it's a win-win. So yeah, I'll just wrap this around twice so you can see. So yeah, it's like, I quite like the cowl wrap around twice. It is quite snuggly and cosy. I've been wearing it quite a bit now, especially to work because it gets quite cold where I work in the office. So yeah. So, oh yes, the name of the pattern might help you to find it. It's the Festive Cheer Cowl. And I wanted to design something that would be really simple to knit on throughout Advent, but with enough interest that you want to keep going to the next colour section. So I think this would make quite a good project if you want something which is just something a bit mindless that you can turn to when things get a bit hectic over the festive season, as they like to do sometimes. So yeah, I just thought something which shows off the colours and I think I forgot to tell you how much of a contrast colour you need. For the large size, I used 30 grams fingering weight of the contrast colour. I've got more details about the exact yardage or meterage on the pattern page. And at the moment, it is only available on Ravelry, but I've been looking into PayHip, and I've started setting up a shop in PayHip, but it's just taking me a little while. I need to figure out how to make sure I get all of my patterns over, but I'll make sure this is the first one that transfers over to there as well. It'll still be available on Ravelry. I know I've been meaning for a while to try and make my patterns available elsewhere, because I know not everyone is comfortable using Ravelry. I looked into setting up my own like Shopify store, and it's just quite expensive. I'd probably only break even if that, if I set up a Shopify store, just because of the amount it costs to run the store. So it's not really an option for me at the moment. I'm going to try PayHip and see how that goes. I've seen a few other designers using that, so hopefully that can be a really good option. And I'll let you know on Instagram and on the podcast when I've managed to get that set up. So, was there anything else? Yes, I wanted to tell you which yarn I used for my cow. I used all of the mini skeins that I used were from Pixie Yarns. So all of them, I think, were from different mini skein sets that I had from her. But I know one of them, this one, is left over from my shoreline tee, which I designed in her yarn. I'm not sure if there was another one that was different. Oh yes, one of the purples. Oh no, ignore me. They were just from different mini skein sets, the two purples. I think one of the mini skein sets was her favourites selection, and another one, I can't remember what it was called, but she does so many gorgeous mini skein sets, and I know she's doing both. I think she's doing 12 skein and 24 skein advent calendars. I don't know if she's still got some available. I know at least a couple of weeks ago she still had some available, so it's worth checking her shop out just in case. I know she dyed them all up and then put them live, so I think they are ready to ship, if that helps at all. Right, so yeah, this is the Festive Cheer Cow, because we all need a little bit of cheer right now, I think. Sorry, I'm getting blown out. Obviously, because it's so early in the morning, the light isn't really great yet, and it's winter and cloudy, so it's just really dark outside. Right, I'll just pop that there, and we'll move on to some finished objects. Oh, I forgot to say, sorry, my brain is all over the place this morning. The Festive Cheer Cow is 50% off. You don't need a code. I've just put it on sale as 50% off until start of December. So for the rest of November, it's going to remain 50% off. And that's just because I wanted to allow people time to figure out what advent patterns they want to use in preparation for the start of December. I just wanted it to be a bit more accessible, because I know advent calendars and the festive season does get really expensive. So I mean, you don't have to use an advent calendar. You can just use any leftover scraps you've got lying around, or mini skeins that you could make up. I know my mum has made up her own set of mini skeins from leftover yarns and minis that she's just got. And she's made up her own selection, and she's already started hers. So that's really nice. So yeah, it's 50% off on Ravelry. I don't know how discounts work on PayHip, but I will try and figure that out and make sure it's obviously the same price on both platforms. So yeah, that is until the end of November if you want to get a copy of the pattern. Okay, so finished objects. First finished object is a pair of socks. They're currently in the wash because I've been wearing them and I didn't really plan this very well. Sorry. So I will include a picture just to the side so that you can see what they look like. But I think I did show them quite a lot in progress on the podcast. And they are my Mean Girls socks, and they are just knit using a self-striping yarn. It's plain vanilla sock, and I used the New Depths heel, which is a heel pattern by Becky Sorensen, who is also known as Soprano Knits. And the yarn I used was from Fab Funky Fibres, and it's their Mean Girls colourway. And it was just really fun to knit up. I really liked the interesting striping sequence and all of the like little, I think they were mini navy stripes in between each of the colours, and it was sort of a little bit like a gradient or a fade in a way, because each colour that follows seems to be most similar to the ones it's next to. So yeah, it was they were really fun to knit up. They were quite a quick knit as well. But yeah, second sock syndrome did hit me with that one. I swear the first sock I knit in a day or two when I was staying with my grandparents in September. And then the second sock has taken me a couple of months to sew. It's just sometimes the way it goes. Okay, so that was the first finished object. And the second finished object is a little hat design, which still needs its ends weaving in and still needs its pom-pom. But this is my hat design, the Moonberry Hat, is what I've decided to call it. I hope it's not getting too blown out. Maybe I should put the hat on. And then you might see what the fit is like. If you can see. But yeah, it's got all these little bobbles. Can't find them. So I've got bobbles and lace and then mini cables as well around the hat. So yeah, I'm knitting this, I'm designing this for 4 different sizes. So I'm doing toddler, child, this is the small adult, and then I'm doing a large adult as well. And I will be adding a pom-pom to this, but still haven't decided which one. It's really hard. I bought too many pom-poms because I just went a bit mad and decided that pom-poms are life and you cannot have too many of them. Yeah, that's exactly how it went. So yeah, I do really, really like the little berries and bobbles on this. And then just that little simple cable, I think just breaks up the blank sections sort of in between. So yeah, and then obviously, I mean, a lot of my things do have a 1x1 twisted rib because I just really like the look of it. And yeah, here's the crown. I find it interesting to look at the crowns of hats because they just sometimes make really interesting patterns. I suppose it's really difficult to see unless it's like on your head. Do one of those glass heads like Amy has from the Stranded podcast. It does freak me out a little bit. Right, so the yarn I'm using, I've used 2 yarns held together. So I've used a fingering weight held together with a lace weight Suri alpaca. The fingering weight is Quince & Co. Finch in the Frost colourway. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Oh gosh. I'm pretty sure that's right. It's the fingering weight from Quince & Co. And it's definitely the Frost colourway. But I've held it together with some leftover Suri alpaca lace weight from my lovely friend Emily, who was her business was formerly called A Knit Away, but is now called Lockwood Fibres. And which I really love the name that she's rebranded to. I just think it sounds really, really nice and kind of mysterious. I don't know, it just sounds really cool. So yeah, I love the rebrand. And yeah, so all the floof has made for quite a fuzzy floof. Oh, there you go, you can see the floof, the halo. Yeah, so it's really, really soft hat and really warm as well. So yeah, sorry, the colourway for the Suri alpaca is the Rainy Mushroom colourway. So yeah, really pleased with this. I do need to get writing up the pattern. Hoping possibly to do that next week and get it into testing. So hopefully it'll be out in December. We will see. Hopefully early to mid-December. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, really pleased with it, and hope you guys like it too. Yeah, that was the Moonberry Hat. Right, I'll pop that over there because that's things I've already shown you. And onto whips. I might need to hurry up a little bit, otherwise the bathroom people are going to arrive and start making noise. Okay, so first whip, I just need to grab part of the whip, which is over here. Okay, so, showing it too soon. Okay, so I've been knitting Jimmy a sweater, and it's been taking me forever, but recently I've decided I would like to get it ready for Christmas, I think, to give him as a present, because we bought the yarn almost a year ago. I think we bought it when we went to the Bath Christmas markets last year, and we obviously, because I went to Bath, had to go to a yarn story, and the lovely Carmen helped us to pick out the right yarn for this sweater. So I have now finished the body, and I cannot believe I managed to do it. I'm just so excited. So at the moment it's like a little sweater vest, and but the fit is great. I was a little bit worried knitting up the body that it would be a bit short, because this sort of like knit and purl texture like just bunched itself up so much. It was just it was about that much shorter than how it's blocked out, but the blocking has worked absolute wonders, and I'm so pleased because now I'm just onto the sleeves, and they are in just plain stockinette. So I'm really, really pleased with how this is going. The fit seems to be really good on the body so far and exactly how he wanted. So I'm just so relieved and excited about that. This is my first time knitting a garment with set-in sleeves, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good project to learn new techniques, and yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's going. The texture is really, really gorgeous as well. So the yarn I'm using is the yarn recommended in the pattern, sort of. It recommends you use Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, but they don't have Brooklyn Tweed Shelter at the Yarn Story. They have Brooklyn Tweed Arbor, which is the fingering weight version. So all we did, it's basically the same woolen spun yarn, but just in a different weight. So all I'm doing is holding 2 strands together. I'm still needed to buy exactly the same number of skeins and everything. It's not ended up any more expensive than it would have been. So yeah, I'm just using 2 strands held together to make it the worsted weight, which it was meant to be. And it's working really well. So yeah, I think you can see the sort of zigzaggy pattern. And this is the Albion sweater by Michelle Wong. And yeah, it's going to be such a cozy, warm sweater. This is my first time knitting with Brooklyn Tweed as well, so but I'm really enjoying it. I love it. I love the feel of the finished fabric. It's just gorgeous. So yeah, and the texture pattern is on the back as well, but then the top part is stockinette, so it matches exactly on the front and back where it finishes. So yeah, hopefully next time this could be a finished object. We'll see. So yeah, obviously still got to do the neckband and the 2 sleeves, and then I've got to weave in the ends and things, but yeah. So that's the Albion sweater, and it's going pretty well at the moment. So it's been a long time on the needles, but it is a husbeast sweater, as my friend Nessa reminded me. That's Nessa of the Kiltercraft podcast, and she's also Kiltercraft on Instagram as well. You can find her designs on Ravelry too. So, oh yeah. So sleeves. I have started the first sleeve, and this is how far I've got. So yeah, there's a long way to go on the sleeves, but it's just like knitting a giant sock with some increases because you're starting with the cuff. So yeah, I'll put this little snow globe progress keeper on. I cannot remember where this came from, but it was definitely from somewhere in the UK, on Etsy, I think. That's really bad. Sorry, I can't remember. Yeah, and it's living in, of course, my project bag from Hikari of Hikari Handmade. You can see the label there. I can't tell if it's focusing or not properly. But yeah, love the project bags. And then the next whip I was going to show you is also living in a Hikari Handmade project bag. And this one, love it. Okay, so living in here is another sweater, And this one I cast on the weekend just before the wedding because I decided I needed some really mindless knitting that was just going to see me through sort of this really busy time in our lives. So I cast on a sweater I've been wanting to knit for such a long time, and it's the Weekender by Andrea Mowry. I've seen so many people knit such beautiful versions of this sweater, and I just needed to have one for myself too. So let me just turn it inside out because you knit it inside out. So I'll show you the correct side. Okay, where's the middle? It's quite bunched up on the needles, so it's a little bit fiddly to show you, but I will get there. And of course it's covered in dog hair. As is everything in my life. So here is my Weekender. It's getting a little bit blown out. So yeah, I really, really love these colours. This is very deep stash, this sweater quantity. I had initially knit the yarn into a boxy sweater, but it ended up way too big and I just didn't feel like I'd ever wear it. It just didn't seem, I think mine turned out much bigger than it should have been. So it just completely drowned me. And I just knew I wouldn't wear it. So the yarn is Madeline Tosh DK. I don't have any of the labels anymore because I sort of rewound all of the yarn as I frogged that previous sweater. And now it's just getting knit straight up into the Weekender. So I've not soaked the yarn in between being knit into the projects, which I probably should have done, but it doesn't really matter that much because this is going to get blocked at the end of it anyway. So you can sort of see it's like a pearl texture on the correct side. And then you get this lovely seam, sort of a slip stitch seam up the front and the back. And yeah, I'm really loving it. It's got a split hem. I don't know if you can see a split hem. You can see on my yarn ends, which isn't helpful. Try this side. Yeah, split hem. And it's a high-low hem as well. So the back is longer than the front, which I do really like in a sweater. I find that's quite a flattering fit. And I think it's quite an oversized sweater, this one. I think it's got quite a bit of positive ease, so it should be a nice cozy sweater to just throw on over the autumn and winter, which is what I'm hoping for. And I'm now just on the really mindless, relaxing section of knitting around and around. So yeah, really enjoying it. And I've got a few really pretty progress keepers and stitch markers on here. So the first one is the little hedgehog from Hannah of the Corner of Craft. She's just beautiful beaded stitch marker. We are now getting the sun coming in, which is nice. I'm sorry if this makes the light really weird. It wasn't meant to be sunny today, but we've got the sun now, as you can see if I... Oh gosh, light is so difficult to manage. Right, and then I've got my little gingerbread man here somewhere. Where is he? He's hiding. Yeah, I've got my gorgeous gingerbread man who is from Jiggles and Beans on Etsy. And then I've also got some mermaids, I think. Yes, I do. Got some little. Oh, hang on. There we go. Got some little mermaids. And they are, I think they're acrylic, and they are from Yarnia. So I've got a couple of those on there, I think. So yeah, I've got a real menagerie of creatures on here, which is pretty nice. But yeah, I'm really loving this. I think it was Madeline Tosh DK in the Firewood colourway. I have no idea if they still dye this or have this base, but I bought it from Love Knitting, I think. Must be at least 4 or 5 years ago. So this is quite deep stash. Right, I'll pop this away and we'll get on to the next whip. Yeah, really relaxing, loving this. So this next one is quite a new whip, but it's one I've been thinking about for quite a long time, and I literally just cast it on yesterday. So it's living in this gorgeous little project bag from Conchetta Prella. I will put her Instagram or shop name on the screen. Yeah, she's got an Etsy shop based here in the UK, and she makes some really gorgeous project bags. I just really love the little velvet, what do you call these? Drawstring. Yeah, I love the velvet drawstring that she's used. And so this is the very start of a hat. And all I've done so far is the ribbing. But it's in this gorgeous dark foresty green. And the yarn is Erica Knight Wild Wool, which is 85% wool and 15% nettle. So it's a sustainable blend of natural nettle and soft wool. I just love this colour. And it's a single ply, which is really interesting. So it's gorgeous. It's going to make a beautiful hat. But it's not the only yarn I'm using in the hat. I am knitting my first colourwork hat design. So sorry if you can hear howling. That's a dog next door. But yeah, it's going to be a colourwork hat. I won't give anything too much away at the moment, but these are going to be the contrast colours that I am using. So here is the colour palette for the hat, and it's now in the sun. If I hold it over here, no, the sun is moving around, so I'm going to be in the sun. I might have to shut the blind in a minute. If it gets too glary, we'll see. Wow, yeah, it's getting a bit too much. I'm going to have to put the blind down. Hopefully that's a bit better. Okay. So yes, here is the colour palette for the hat. So I've already told you about this yarn. This yarn, the orange, which is just gorgeous. These are both leftovers. This is Mr. B's yarn in, oh, what was the colourway? Jasper. No, that's the base. Jasper DK in, is it something to do with bourbon? No. I'll write it on the screen because I am rubbish and I cannot remember, but I love this colourway so much. Is it old number 7? No. Can't remember. I will write it on. I know Becky will probably be shouting out the screen. And Claire and John, if they're watching as well. Oh, lots of people shouting at me. And I apologise. Then this is leftover. It's a Corriedale. And it was from New Zealand. So yeah, these are going to be in a hopefully exciting colourwork design. And then I've got this little heart stitch marker on here, which is gorgeous and came from Demels's Delights. It's an acquisition. Right, I'll just pop these in here. And onto the next whip. So the next whips are all stitching instead of knitting. I've got one embroidery and 2 cross stitches on the go. So it's a little bit different to usual episodes, but I'm really getting into that at the moment. So I will show you the different projects I'm working on in a second. Okay, if I do them in chronological order, first one is living in my Eldon Woodcraft forest bag, which I absolutely love. And this one is the embroidery. I think I have shown you before, probably, but I have made a little bit of progress. This is a kit from Jenny Blair. And it's fab because it comes with all of the materials that you need, including the hoop, the fabric, the threads, and you've got a little outline of where you need to stitch as well on the fabric, which is great. And it comes with instructions on how to create each of the different stitches as well, which is great for a beginner like me. So this is actually my second kit from Jenny Blair, and I absolutely love them. So yeah, that's the only section I've done, but I'm really pleased with it. It is slowly making progress on it. And yeah, I'll just show you what the finished picture looks like. Oh, sorry, that's getting so reflected in the studio lights. There you go. So that's what it looks like. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I'm just finding it quite relaxing to do a bit of stitching at the moment. Then the second one, which I'm working on, is living in this cute project bag, which I think I got as a present from my friend Lydia once, but I'm not sure who made the project bag, whether it was her or, don't know. Ooh, it's got a label. Buttoned Up and Pinned Down. It's from Buttoned Up and Pinned Down. I absolutely love the Christmas llamas, festive llamas, I should say. They are super cute. Someone got a Christmas tree on its back. Yeah. It's just carrying a Christmas tree or a Christmas shrubbery. Yeah. So this one is a cross stitch, and I think this little cross stitch kit also came from my friend Lydia, who is, sorry, I forgot to say who she was on Instagram. She is the Right Yarn, and she also has her own hand-dyed yarn company, which is lovely. So it's going to be a Christmas wreath. So that's what I've done so far. Not very much. It's a very small little diddy cross stitch, but I've started that yesterday, I started about 3 projects yesterday. I went crazy. I don't know why. But this is the finished, what it should like when it's finished. What it should look like when it's finished. So, yeah, I think you get to do some French knots with the pinks and reds to decorate. So I quite like doing French knots, which I've learned doing embroidery. So that'll be really fun. So yeah, that's where I'm up to with that one. I think that kit was from Hobbycraft. I've had it at least 2 years, I think. Or if I had it one, I don't remember. I've had it a little while, so I don't know if they still sell that particular one, but I know they sell all sorts of different kits, which are lovely. So, let's check the time. How are we doing? Right, I need to get a little move on. Got one more whip to show you. Just grab that. Okay, so this one is, sorry, put that down. This one is a PDF pattern for cross stitch, which I bought online from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and it's this gorgeous cross stitch sampler, which is the Fibery Friends sampler, I think. Yes, Fibery Friends sampler. And I just thought it was so cute with all the little fibery animals and the spinning wheel in particular over there. And yeah, and socks as well. I just thought it's perfect for someone who loves knitting as well. So I just bought the pattern from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery because if I'd ordered the whole kit, I would have got slammed with customs fees and all sorts of things, and it would take ages to get here too. So I ordered all the materials I need from the Patchwork Rabbit, who is based here in the UK. I think it might be a brick and mortar shop, but is also has an online shop. So I'm not sure if that's entirely correct, but they definitely have an online store which is open and has really quick delivery. It took, I think I ordered the things on Sunday and they arrived yesterday, which was Tuesday, so pretty much a 1-day turnaround time. So I ordered all of the different embroidery threads. Sorry about the crinkling. There we go. I ordered all of the different threads that I needed, apart from the black, which they had run out of. They were out of stock of that one that I needed, but I do have some black that I've had from other projects before, so hopefully I can make use of that. So these were all of the ones I ordered. So I've ordered the exact colours which it recommends in the pattern. It tells you exactly which colours you need, and with the colour codes, and tells you the size fabric that you need as well. So I'm using some linen for the first time. I've only ever cross-stitched using Ada, and I really wanted to try a pretty sort of like dyed linen fabric for quite a while. So, but I was always a bit daunted about not buying a kit and figuring out how much fabric I would need and all of that stuff. But within the Frosted Pumpkin pattern, it tells you to order a specific thing. So I'm really pleased. I managed to get the right fabric and the right size, and I've figured out how you cross stitch onto linen. So And I've also masking taped up the edges, which I think is right to stop them fraying. I don't know. I'm not a professional stitcher, so I don't know what I'm doing. But this is what I've done so far. So I did this yesterday. Started this one yesterday as well. Because as soon as this arrived, excuse me, the other projects just, yeah. Well, actually no, that's a lie, because the hat I started in the evening when we were watching Bake Off, because I can't really cross stitch when we're watching TV, so because I need good light and I've got to really concentrate on where I'm putting the stitches and stuff. So this is what I've done so far. Started on the alphabet. So I think my plan is to work my way out of the alphabet in maybe this direction and then onto some of the animals, so that I don't get bored just doing all of the alphabet first. So I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do, but we make our own rules, don't we? But yeah, I really love this fabric. I can't remember what it was called. I think I threw out the packaging thing which told me what I'd ordered. But I ordered 2 different fabrics. I think this one, the brand began with a P. I think it was one that was recommended in the pattern, actually. Hang on, I'll just check. Oh no, I didn't print out that section. Sorry. I will look it up and I'll write it on the screen. So, but yeah, I really like the fabric. It's sort of got a bit of variation. I think it's just going to be really nice. Like that, yeah. I'm really enjoying it. It's got a lovely feel to it as well. It feels quite soft. So it's quite nice to, I don't know, I'm just quite tactile, I think. I like the feel of stuff as you're like working on them. So yeah, really excited about this. And yeah, that was the last whip. That one currently is not living in a project bag because I haven't got one that I'm not using, which is big enough. Actually, I've just seen one which is in the cupboard, which I might be able to use. That orange llama one, possibly. I'll figure that out later. Okay, so now we are just onto some other acquisitions, because that was an acquisition. Basically, I've got a couple of gifts which I was given for my wedding. It's like wedding presents. So because John of Mr. B's Yarn was my photographer on the day, he brought a box with him which was from Claire and Becky. So Claire, also of Mr. B's Yarn and Birds Street UK, and Becky, who is Claire's sister and is the host of the Bex Creates podcast, which you should definitely go and check out. So they are some of my closest knitty friends. They're my knitty family, along with Kate, who you will have heard me mention before. And they sent me, via John, a little box to open before the ceremony. So just like in the morning when I was getting ready. And inside they'd wrapped 4 things, and each little parcel had a little label on that said something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue, which was so lovely and kind and just so thoughtful, and I was just blown away. I mean, everything felt so surreal that day anyway, and I just couldn't believe that they thought to do all of that for me. It was just so kind. So the something old, it's over here actually. Something old is a shawl which Becky knitted a while ago, and it's one of my patterns, and it's what's the name of it? Oh my gosh, this is terrible. I can't remember. Oh, what's the name of this pattern? I know it. I designed it and I can't remember. I might have to look up the name for my own pattern. This is really bad. What is it? Frosted something? No. Oh my gosh. This is terrible. I'm going to have to look this up. Where is it? I know this. Ugh, Midwinter Mist. It's so bad. Why did I forget the name of my own pattern? I do that quite a lot. Sorry, this is the Midwinter Mist shawl. Maybe getting a bit blown out. There we go. And it was just so lovely to receive this. I'm assuming Becky doesn't want this back, because I've been wearing it. So, but Becky, let me know if you do want it back, and I can send it back at some point. But it's just so gorgeous. I love the colours that she'd used. They are very Becky. Obviously with the fluorescent pinks and yellows and blues. It's just gorgeous. I don't know which yarns she used for this, but at least one of them has got to be Mr. B's yarn. I'm not sure which. I don't know. I think one of them might be Somerset yarns as well. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it's a fingering weight held together with mohair, and it's pretty. So yes, this is my something old. Then my something new is this little gorgeous project bag from Eldon Woodcraft. And it came with these little stitch markers too. So yeah, it's just amazing. Just absolutely beautiful. So I was just blown away. I couldn't believe what they'd done. So yeah, that's going to be beautiful to keep a hat or sock project in, I think, soon. I was trying to keep it nice for the podcast until I get to use it. So that was my something new. My something borrowed was the acorn socks, which I knit as a collaboration with Claire and John in their yarn. And when I finished the sample, I gave them to them so that they can use them in shows and things. So I have sent those back to Claire with her advent package. So that's why I can't show you that, but I can include a picture. And then my something blue was this gorgeous skein of Claire and John's yarn, which is just gorgeous. And this is, so it's on their Hiddleston 4-ply base, and it's in the Southville colourway. Just look at those speckles. They're just gorgeous. That blue. It's just beautiful. So I was just completely blown away, obviously, by the whole package. And it was just such a lovely, kind thing for them to do for me on my wedding. So yeah, it's really, really lovely. I feel very lucky to have them as friends. And yeah. So there is one last acquisition, which was from my work friends, as a part of a wedding present as well. They know all about my obsession with yarn and knitting and everything. So none of them are like proper knitters with a capital K, but Sophie has dabbled in knitting, and I'm trying to get her like more into knitting, but she does watch this podcast sometimes. So if you are watching, Sophie, then hello. And yes, they got me this beautiful yarn, which is from Demelza's Delights, who I think is based in Cornwall. And the colourway is Still Flowering in November, which is quite apt as it's November. So there we go. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it came with that little heart stitch marker. Stitch marker? Yes, stitch marker, and also this little one too. I just absolutely love it. So I think I'm going to run out of time soon because people are going to arrive and start making noise. So I'm going to quickly say goodbye. It's been absolutely wonderful to chat with you all again. I hope you are all well and managing to stay safe and keep your spirits up during these difficult times, and manage to embrace some festive cheer. So yes, don't forget my Festive Cheer Cow is 50% off until the end of November. I will update on Instagram when it is available on PayHip as well. I'll try and get that done as soon as possible. I'll try and get that done today if I can, but I do have to edit the podcast, which takes quite a long time. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending some time with me, and I hope you all have a lovely crafty couple of weeks till I speak to you again soon.